lovely people, welcome back to another Writing Tip Tuesday. I'm Sammy and I'm a writer who likes to help other writers become better writers. This week is a tie-in with last week's. If you haven't watched that video yet, you can check it out right here, where I talked about my mindset and how I'm going to take myself into consideration when I'm setting my goals for this year, rather than just sort of planning things without much true consideration. So I'm trying to come from an honest and more forgiving space so that I don't end up in a bad mental place at the end of the year if I don't achieve the goals that I set, and really trying to prioritize myself in the present rather than the person that I want to be in the future when I'm setting these goals. This year, what I would normally be calling a list of goals, I am going to be calling a big dreams list. I'm hoping that everything that I put on this list will be attainable and they're not like crazy out of reach things. I'm not saying I'm going to be a millionaire by the end of the year, but I'm hoping by saying that they're dreams, it's not so restricting as goals are, because if it's a dream that I'm working towards and I'm making progress towards it, that's progress. I think the term goal is too strict for me where I'm at right now, because it's either yes, I achieved this, or no, I didn't. And then more often than not, it's no, I didn't. And that then makes me feel bad. And it's not generally good to just sort of feel bad about yourself for not achieving goals. So big dreams it is this year. Something else that I'm doing to protect my self-perception and motivation and general self-worth is not engaging with creators that are at a place that I wish I was at because they started 5 years before me or whatever, because I have been watching a lot of writers on YouTube. I have been engaging with a lot of writer content on YouTube for a while before I even started making my own writer content. And I've changed the content that I've been watching so that I don't end up like taking anybody else's advice and claiming that it's mine. So there are some channels that I have just sort of naturally weaned off of, but there are some that are more vlog-ish that I do really enjoy the people who are running the channel. I enjoy their personalities. I'm rooting for them to succeed at the things that they are working towards, but I'm not in a position right now to not simultaneously be made jealous of them because they're doing something that I am also working towards. They're just ahead of me, or putting myself into a position of having imposter syndrome because somebody else is already doing it, so why aren't you kind of perception. Even though I know conceptually, yes, they are ahead of me because they started before me, which means if I just keep doing what I'm doing, maybe I'll end up where they are. Or if I keep working towards what they're doing, I'll probably get there eventually. But I want it now and I don't have it now, so I have to distance myself from that to protect my own mental space. And I think that's going to help me focus on what I'm doing rather than trying to be other people, because they're doing what I would like to do in the future and I am focusing on my present self for this year instead of the future I want to have. I'm trying to better who I am in the moment so that maybe I'll have a better future, rather than setting goals so that my future will be better faster. As of right now, on my big dreams list, I have establish and stick to a minimum writing routine, either like 15 minutes a day or like 100 words. I think I'm probably gonna go with like a time-based one of a minimum, because I'm probably gonna be doing like writing exercises or prompts or just like general, I'm just gonna write something just to do something creative in like a notebook because I love writing things by hand. So I'm probably gonna do a time thing. Maybe it'll be 10 minutes, maybe it'll be 15, maybe it'll be 5. I haven't decided yet, but I want to set up something that is an absolute bare minimum. Sit down for X minutes, do something, write for X minutes, and then see what comes from that. I had multiple writing classes in college, and oftentimes one of those courses at least would start off with just having us sit down in like silence and write, like respond to a prompt and then write for 15 minutes, respond to a writing exercise and then write for 15 minutes, and just see what happened. And that was really good for me. I came up with a lot of really great ideas and had a lot of passion towards what I was writing when I did that. So I'm hoping I can recreate that experience for myself with writing prompts or exercises or just general like idea brain dump type of situations that'll help me stay motivated to do maybe more than 5, 10, 15 minutes of writing if I have the time. And right now I am working on scaling back the things that I am doing. So if all goes well with that, I will have more time to do writing for myself. And with that minimum writing routine, I'm not saying that I'm going to write 365 days for that many minutes. I don't know that that's going to be possible, and I don't think that it's going to be possible, but I do think that I have a lot of motivation towards streaks. I have such a long Duolingo streak, even though all of the people that started doing Duolingo with me stopped because I don't want to lose it. So I think if I treat it the same way that I treat Duolingo, where maybe I have a pop-up reminder at the same time on my calendar every single day, and then I can snooze it, postpone it, whatever, move it to another time, and have the same opportunity to do it multiple times throughout the day. And if I miss a day, that's okay, but I have to do it tomorrow, otherwise I'll lose that streak. I think that's a good way to motivate myself. It's just something that motivates me. So if I can find a way to keep track of that visually, that I'm writing every single day or almost every single day, then I think I'll stay motivated to do that just because that's who I am. I'm not going to hold myself super aggressively to it if I miss a day because life happens. That's okay. I'm gonna try really hard the next day to keep that streak up. Another thing on my big dreams list is I would like to finish the play that I'm working on. Whether that means finish the first draft and send it out for feedback from people who are gonna give me some really great feedback, or if that means get it fully revised and figure out what the next steps are for it, I'm not sure, but we will see what it means when I get there. I would like to write at least one shitty first draft. I don't need it to be great. I don't need it to be perfect. I don't need it to be something that I want other people to read. I just need it to be something that is written so I can have somewhere to go. And I think that's possible, but if it doesn't happen, if I can't do it, that's okay. To go along with that, I would like to participate in at least one of the 3 months of Nano. My partner has said he might want to participate in one of them. I think we will be moving during one of them, so maybe, and November is a pretty busy month for him, so maybe we'll try and do the other summer one that we won't be moving in. But it'll be nice to have somebody else who wants to participate, helping me stay on track to getting to that point. And I'm hoping that that will work out. And if it doesn't, there's always next year. And I'm fine with keeping up with just wanting to do it. If it's going to be a huge strain on my life, if I have too many responsibilities during that time, I'm not going to put that pressure on myself. But I think that there is potential for it to work out if I can make the changes in my life that I'm trying to make by November. Another big dream that I have is to read a couple, however many that ends up being, of the classic novels that I have from a new perspective, because I read Reading Like a Writer by Francine Prose, and that really shed some light onto classic texts that I never had shed on them when I was forced to read them for class. Because if how Francine Prose talked about literature was how literature was taught in high school, I would have read these books, but that's not how it was taught. So I wanted to take that into consideration and flip through all of my notes and highlights in that book and read some of the classic texts that I have from a new perspective, because I think that that would be really good for me. And I just haven't gotten around to it this year. It felt like a chore, so I didn't really pick them up. And I think that if I have the opportunity to, I would like to read at least one next year. I would like to read more writing books. I'm not going to require myself to read a certain amount, but I would like to take into consideration what stage of the writing experience I'm in, because I did think very selflessly for last year when I was choosing the books to read that I was going to read books that I thought I could make good videos out of, that I could reflect on and help other people. And I wasn't always in the stage of writing that I would need to have read that book. And that made it difficult for me to read those books. So I'm going to be a little bit more selfish about choosing those books that I read, and hopefully, because I'm absorbing more, I will be able to export more to other people and read more from a selfish perspective than from a outwardly perspective. My next big dream comes from the book Big Magic. It's that I would like to allow inspiration to view me as a good resource. I really liked the concepts that were explored in Big Magic, and I would recommend it to a lot of people who have similar perspectives as me to the concept of creativity. It's really motivational in a lot of ways, and I want to allow inspiration to come to me. I want inspiration to think that I am a good resource for it. So that is on my big dreams list. I don't know what that looks like, but I would like to put it into action in some kind of way. And if I can feel like I'm doing that, then that's great. And that I'm good with that. As for my process of making steps for this, last year I planned out what stage of each goal that I had for all aspects of my life, where it would be on a month-by-month status at the end of the previous year. It wasn't even the beginning of the year. I planned out where I thought I should be without really taking in consideration where I would be. What would really happen? How things would change and manifest. This year, I'm going to take a quarterly approach and just sort of check in with myself every quarter and see where I'm at on what goals and what goals maybe I need to give a little bit more attention to. On what big dreams may need a little bit more attention to. I think fully that over planning last year is a big reason why I didn't achieve my goals, was because I continually thought that I was just going to be behind. So by allowing myself to do regular check-ins with myself, whether it's quarterly and I check in on all of those things, or if it's monthly and I check on a bunch of different things, I'm going to check in before I start making action steps. And I think that's going to make a big difference for how much of what I can get done and achieved. And as a final note for next year's general outlook, I have some advice that I am using to direct myself that may also help direct you. This is the many bits of advice that I'm working off of for next year. Any step in the right direction is worth it, even if it's small. Placing your self-worth on what you can get done is not a great way to feel safe while taking breaks. And you need breaks to be a person. Taking breaks is good. You have plenty of time. Work-life balance applies to self-assigned work too. Just because it's not making you money doesn't mean that it's not worthwhile to pursue. Be kind to yourself. You're the only you've got. And just to reiterate this one or hammer it home a little bit more, because I have a hard time with this one, breaks are productive. Breaks are good for you. That is all that I've got for you today. If you enjoyed this video or you learned something from it, if I helped you set any goals, please let me know in the comments or by hitting the like button. It'll really help me out. We are coming up fast on the end of the year, and I am doing like a reading wrap up for the last video that I post for this year and talking about my new reading strategy for next year, how I'm planning to read more books next year. So if you don't want to miss that, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. That'll be here on Saturday. So I will see you guys on Saturday for that. And then I will be taking a week off for the new year because I will be spending time with my family. And that's nice to not have to worry about posting on the internet. So I will be taking off the first week of January. So I will see you guys on Saturday, and then I will see you guys back again in 2 weeks for another writing tip video.